From the new recording lair located deep beneath the Wine and Spirit store in Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
You're listening to the Masonic Light Podcast.
Studio 665 presents Masonic Light Podcast. This show is recorded by Masons, for Masons, and is for entertainment purposes only. And please, no wagering.
This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. And now, here's your host.
Hey now, everybody. Welcome to the Masonic Light Podcast, episode number 170.
No friggin' way.
Can you believe that? 170.
170, Jeff. And how many have you listened to? Okay, and Larry?
Oh, so
Not bad.
again,
Not bad for our third year broadcast. Oh, no, wait a minute. It's
for
more than that, isn't
what?
it?
Larry, stop talking.
Good grief. Tonight's episode is brought to you by...
Did you miss me last week? Last
So much.
Did you really?
So much. I
have it here. Welcome Larry back. But
I
apparently
said
we get
publicly
It's brought to you by Larry.
that the show was like decaf coffee.
Is that right?
It tasted good,
Did you
but there
listen
was
to the last
something
episode?
missing.
Partly, yeah.
Well, you missed the beginning because he...
I didn't. I'll have to go back and listen to it. So one of the nice things about podcasts, you can go back and listen to all of them from the first to the 170th.
What?
Which, by the way, that brings me to a question I'll ask you later in the show.
Oh, okay. If it's going to quiz me on what was on what show,
No,
you're going to forget that.
It's Mr. Quizzer.
So, and let me try this again. Tonight's episode is brought to you by George J. Grove and Son.
Attaboy, George.
Yeah, baby. Which, by the way, we've got some stuff we got to get to him. Hiram and Solomon Cigars.
What? Let the record show I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do.
No, okay.
All right. Scott Helm Electric. Intermezzo by Stephanie.
Oh, yeah, her I know.
Yep.
Yeah, we need some more chocolates from her. And our patrons on Patreon.
Yes, we love you long time.
Long time. We have a new $10 contributor and a new $1 contributor.
Huzzah!
Since our last episode.
Since
Now, I
the
don't know
last
that
episode.
I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact you weren't here. But it might just might be a correlation without a causation. But anyway,
Correlation is not. That's it. That's
All
it.
of you who like Larry being on the show, as long as he has been, contribute now. Become a Patreon, okay? Let's bump those numbers up,
Yeah, he's
okay?
demanding his salary
Call
now, right?
1-800-669-75, or contact Tim Dedman at Masonic Light Podcasts, whatever.
Larry,
at gmail.com.
we hereby agree that we will double your salary on the show.
Yes.
At this
It
right
will
now.
be two zeros instead of
starting
one.
with episode 170.
Absolutely.
We're
2
doubling.
times nothing.
Oh, God bless me.
So you can contact us at masoniclightpodcast@gmail.com, on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Threads at Masonic Light. And do you remember the phone number?
Nope.
Okay. I said last episode I was going to look it up during the show, and I forgot to. So I have to look it up.
315.
It's
and then
something,
just dial random
Mason.
numbers
I
after
think we've
that,
had it
yeah.
for 7 years, but we don't know what it is.
But we checked it out, and it's legit.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It ends in Mason.
Yeah.
So it's 315 something Mason.
All right. I'll look it up.
And number
So
two,
dial the 999 combinations that might be.
And
That
you can call us.
something is pretty important.
And and you'll get it.
and by the way, there are probably 800 messages on there, and we haven't listened to one of them yet.
No,
So-
they're no longer, because actually I did go back and listen to them, and there's a whole bunch of Moyer and a whole bunch of other stuff. And
Yeah, that was bad. And we were picking on Moyer for not getting us information.
and he was all along.
all along.
Well,
So-
can we use it?
It was Pete.
It might still be relevant.
He's still Moyer.
It might still be relevant. So tonight's guest is Brother Jeff Fulton, Central Pennsylvania Mason extraordinaire. We're glad to have him join us tonight. We're going to get to know him a little bit better in a few minutes.
There are 2 Jeff Fultons, by the way.
There are 2. This is El Duce.
And my dad is Elder Duce.
Elder Duce.
Elder Duce.
That's right. This is El Duce, as he's known around Ubar Grotto.
And here's the thing, they even look alike.
And that's not in memory of any individual.
Jack, is your mic on?
I think you might have unplugged
Oh,
your
you want? No, I should
There
be
you
on.
go. There you go. Now,
I got to eat the microphone.
now you're back.
So, but it is.
You've got some issues. You got
What's
some
going on
issues.
here?
Yeah, your cord is.
What's going on?
You've got some issues.
I got a
going
loose
on there.
cord.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There you go.
There you go.
Don't
I don't
move. Don't move.
Okay,
Stay
I'm
that
gonna
way
move.
the whole show.
Okay.
How's that for your back?
Okay, Joe, you can talk now.
As you were saying,
No, that's no. It means two, like deuce.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Jeff
Absolutely.
Deuce. right.
Absolutely.
But it's El Duce because
he's
very
El Duce.
scary.
Yeah. It's a long story.
It's a long
Complicated.
story.
Long story.
A long and winding
Years
road.
ago.
Yes.
In a land
Galaxy far, far away. That's right.
All right.
All right. So, as is our norm, we're going to try to rein this group back in. We're going to talk about what we've been doing Masonically since we last recorded. Larry, you've got some catching up to do
Yeah, I do, don't I?
because you weren't here last time.
Well,
There was Goose and Gridiron.
definitely Goose and Gridiron, yes. Well, I haven't been there for the past couple of weeks, but yes, definitely. I went to Lodge on Tuesday.
Did you?
Yeah, I was at Lodge.
Good.
Good meeting, nice attendance.
What was your program?
Steve Doctor did the Canadian closing charges.
It's awesome.
It was awesome. Or you could call it the Oklahoma closing charges. It's a whole bunch of different names, but the same thing. And it was beautiful. He did a masterful job. Great job.
Yeah. We do that at our annual Lowville every year. It's
Yep.
great.
And lots of good things going on in Millersville.
Good.
Yes, we have a professional working with us to redesign our lodge and upgrade it substantially. Anyhow, so that's
Any
what
pot
I'll-
pie?
No, we had turkey and chili sausage, which was very good.
That's like
Turkey and chili, turkey and sausage chili, which was very good. I never had it before, and it had beans in it. But other
Healthy.
than that,
Healthier.
Leftover chili.
Yeah, no, it was good. Good stuff.
Sounds like.
Okay, Jack.
Well, since our last recording, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
It
you're good
seems
now.
like it's
You're good
cutting
now.
in and out of mine
good.
too. So since our last session together, Doctor, not a ton, but it's the run up to the next stated meeting. So there's a rehearsal always. You got to go to rehearsal and all that kind of stuff. And then we had our stated meeting last night, and the boys did really well. The opening and closing was excellent. We had a non-Mason speaker, so we kind of rushed through the business meeting. But I mean, you can really get it down to 35 minutes at the least, and it was a little bit longer than that. But we moved into we finished the business, closed, went downstairs to the social hall, and that's where she did her presentation. So we could get up, go to the restroom if you need to, or get a drink or whatever. It's kind of a nice format. Brief business meeting in the lodge, and then downstairs for the presentation. It was nice. She's an astronomer,
Okay.
and she had a really interesting talk about Washington, D.C., and the fact that, no, those aren't Masonic layouts in the roads. It's a star chart,
Yeah.
right? So that was very interesting. She had some cool graphics.
Star chart. Wink, wink.
Yes.
Wink, wink. Yeah. So anyway, that was cool. I got some interesting news. I'm not sure if it's premature to
No,
share
do it.
this.
Do it. Do it.
Well, two things. I was asked by our friend Nicholas Lane, who is a 2-time guest on the show, I think.
Yes.
He asked me if I would speak at his Masonic Con in Ontario, Canada, coming up in May. And I said, sure, sure, that's fine. And then I saw the notice that came out for this poster thing of this Masonic Con, and it says keynote speaker Jack Harley. And I said, oh, really?
I have to prepare for this.
Ruh-roh. How's that going to go? So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that. And then I was also contacted by the Grand Chapter, and I am to be the District Deputy Grand High Priest. I can't read that, Larry. Sorry. Hold on.
Nicholas Lane was 3 times on our show, not 2.
Oh, okay. That's a meaningful interruption. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Nick, you were here 3 times. Okay.
Well, technically
Twice
2.
here, once on Zoom or whatever we did.
Which would be 3.
Oh my God!
Excuse
you're killing
me, Larry.
Smalls.
You're wrong. 4 times. He was on at Lodge in the Woods.
Thank you.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Whoa!
Josh has
continue.
got my back. Anyway,
Jeff, welcome to the Sonic
So-
Light Podcast.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I got it.
so long story short,
God.
next year, if I don't do anything super naughty, I will be the district deputy grand high priest of District 4 of the Grand Chapter of Pennsylvania.
The Grand Holy Royal Arch.
The Grand
Chapter.
Holy Royal Arch Chapter of Pennsylvania
Pennsylvania.
Masonic jurisdictions.
No, they don't get that part. I don't think.
So anyway, no, that's
Very
very
cool, Jack. That's-
very exciting. I appreciate
neat.
being noticed.
Congratulations.
And- yeah. So
That's very good. Jeff,
Yes.
what have you been up to Masonically recently?
Well, I don't know how I'm going to follow Jack and
All right.
all that. I mean,
Wait till you get to my list.
wait,
yeah, we
I
are.
didn't do much, honestly. I had a tall cedar meeting, and we had a Mardi Gras theme. However, the meal was tacos.
Oh,
So I don't understand how
somebody
we,
didn't plan that well.
Yeah,
did they?
yeah.
Cinco
So
de Mayo
I
all
think they
over
got
again.
the months confused.
yeah.
Mardi Gras.
It's confusing. It's confusing. We had an e-board meeting 2 days after that, and that's the only thing I've done Masonically over the past week, and it's not a bad thing.
Okay.
There you go.
Cinco de Mayo, they'll have jambalaya.
Yeah,
be great.
I don't understand. We didn't even have king cake, which was really upsetting.
Yeah, really. Josh,
I mixed the last episode, of course.
Did a fine job at that.
got a lot of good comments on our good brother Tom Mahaffey.
Yes.
Great episode. Cool.
Dutchy Doug was great.
Yeah.
Dutchy
By the
Doug
way,
was
awesome.
really good.
Really good. And I went to a thing, and that's about it. I didn't go to Lodge, of course.
You went to a thing. What thing you go to?
It's a secret.
He can't tell you.
Oh man.
So
Oh jeez.
I did a secretary training.
That would be a
secretary
good time to go to the restroom.
treasurer training with the 46th Masonic District. None of you all mentioned, and 3 of us were there.
The last grotto meeting.
The last Dubar Grotto meeting.
Oops.
Yeah.
Don't.
No, I'm not. They had the honor of conducting an interview with the Right Worshipful Grand Master Larry A. Durr.
Is he looking for a job?
No, he has a good one right now. Okay. For a project that we're working on. I expect that most Masonic bodies across the country are starting to gear up to do something around the upcoming 250th birthday of our nation. That will occur in 2026. And so if you remember back when we were 200 years old, you saw commercials for this stuff for like 3 years ahead of time or whatever. And so they're starting to gear up for that. But anyway, there's going to be a big announcement coming from Grand Lodge about some stuff we're doing with that. Eureka West Shore Lodge number 302 had its stated meeting. Had a great meeting, had a great presentation by Brother Scott Matinchek on the Dudley Watch. If you're a Central Pennsylvania Mason and have not heard that program,
He is good.
He is very good. That presentation is really neat.
I hear you get to see his dad's watch.
You do get to see his dad's watch, although he claims it as his own.
I wonder if
As our
his dad-
previous guest told us he would. But we, attended National Sojourners meeting in Harrisburg. That's always a fun event. If you're interested, actually, you don't have to be a veteran to be a part of that group, but you probably should enjoy hanging out with those guys. But it's really fun. Those guys getting together, and their programs are outstanding, and the meal's amazing. So it's one of those things. If I had a free night and somebody figured it out, and now I don't have that free night anymore. And then finally, Harrisburg Lodge of Perfection met last week, where we had a brief meeting and then some really good fellowship afterwards. And so, anyway, it's been a busy time.
You know you're doing way too much when you have to write all of them down on a piece of paper.
Usually he cheats and looks at his calendar program on his phone, but But
they
he's got
fuss
it
at
all.
me for looking at my phone. So
Yeah, because then it
it's
just
very
goes on
impressive.
for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
And then he's like, "Oh, I forgot about this one."
Oh, yeah.
Well, kind of like Grotto.
Yeah. Well,
Touche.
you know, it happens.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with our guest, El Duce, Jeff Fulton.
Here's where you go pee.
Why choose George J. Grove & Sons for your next home improvement project? At George J. Grove & Sons, we've built our reputation on quality and trust for more than 50 years. From planning to materials to installation, George J. Grove promises a home improvement experience second to none. Whether your goal is reducing energy costs, decreasing maintenance, updating curb appeal, or simply increasing the value of your home, the George J. Grove team will recommend and provide solutions that stand the test of time. Call 717-393-0859 for an estimate or visit us at georgejgrove.com.
Take a drink.
What are you
I'm not
pointing?
bringing you back.
What are you pointing at me for?
No, someone
All right.
bring us back.
Larry, are you here?
Yeah,
We're back.
we're back.
We are back.
See how that works? We're back with LJ, our good friend Jeff Fulton, who is past all kinds of things over across the river
Riverside.
in a
Lodge.
van down by the river.
Down by the riverside. That's right.
Another Riverside Lodge.
in our neighboring county. For those of you outside of Pennsylvania, Lancaster and York, you can imagine red rose, white rose goes back to that whole thing.
Nation's capital.
We're
at one
still
point.
having that fight, just
First
so you
capital.
know.
Just so you know, York first
So
capital.
First capital.
Hogwash.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's
true.
So
Thank you.
So anyway, we were just struggling around, like who is going to be sucker enough to come to visit with us on Valentine's Day. So Jeff is here.
Yeah, here I am. So
If you read about a divorce
Tell us-
later, you
tell-
understand.
Tell us about how you came to be here on Valentine's Day, Jeff.
Before I go any further, I just want to let you know I listen to the podcast every once in a while.
Liar.
Like 2 times. But honestly, I think to myself, man, is Larry really that bad whenever he's on the radio? And he really is. So I got a phone
Be careful. I have a big following.
I got a phone call from Tim, which I didn't take because I saw it was Tim, and
Wise man.
it went straight to voicemail, and he said that they needed someone to come and talk on the podcast Wednesday night, and I thought to myself, wow, I'm really not that important, so they must be really looking for somebody.
Really desperate.
Really are. And so, without thinking, I thought to myself, yeah, I'll come to the podcast. And then I realized, oh, that's Valentine's Day. My wife might not like that. So I gave her the puppy dog eyes, and she said that's fine. She's just going to go to happy hour anyhow. So you guys got me, and she's at happy hour.
Nice.
So,
Everybody wins.
yeah, exactly.
Good.
So.
So again, tell us about you and
Well, if I may,
Yes,
I'm going
you
to
may.
jump in.
Of course you
It's- So, like, Jeff is involved in Ubar Grotto with all of us, and Jeff is busting his hump to really put some excitement into Ubar Grotto, and I appreciate it. I appreciate everything that you're doing, but he just did a new thing, and it came across my radar, and I said, all right, we need to get Jeff on the phone because Jeff's doing too much good to not be recognized for this. So, the latest thing that you're doing is
So we have been semi-stagnant over the last few years since COVID, with Grotto and just Freemasonry in general. Since COVID has kind of dwindled a little bit, and I'm trying to get our guys to kind of go out and do some more stuff. So the St. Patrick's Day Parade coming up, March 16th, we are officially registered, and we are officially going to be marching in the parade. and we kind of talked about this earlier, and in the words of Pete, even if we get 6 guys out, hopefully we get 10 next year.
Right.
So the more people we get out now, the more people we hopefully can get out next year.
Right.
And
I still have my kazoo, by the way. I still have it.
Yeah.
It hangs on my hook with all of my other useless collars.
And I'm sure all the other organizations are very proud of that.
They are.
But no, so it's just trying to build back what we had within that organization specifically, and I'm trying my best.
Wait, are you saying build back better? Is that what you said?
That's it.
I think I heard him say that.
That's it.
I would never.
But that's what you mean.
No.
So
We are going to build back.
just so everybody knows, a couple of years ago, the York County or the York City baseball team, where are they, double A or 1A? Or,
No, they're not even that.
They're not
They're,
even
they're
lowercase c.
Atlantic League.
lowercase c league.
pre-A.
Yeah.
But they're a lot of fun.
They are.
It's great to go to those
The
games.
York Revolution.
That's it. So they were having a special night, and tell us about that. Tell us about that event.
I organized that as well, but not to say that I'm doing good things.
Brag on yourself.
But
we're bragging on you.
So York was trying to get the biggest amount of Guinness World Record instruments to play the national anthem, and we as Ubar Grotto
Carried him over the line.
probably carried them over the line with our 13 or 14 people playing our Ubar Grotto kazoos.
Huzzah.
And I don't know if they broke the record.
They did.
Did they?
did. I remember. Yeah.
I
that
don't.
night.
I don't remember exactly how many there were. I want to say it was like 600, maybe
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah, so it ranged from our kazoos to people playing trumpet to violins, mandolins.
York City Orchestra was there.
Yeah, York City Orchestra was there. It was an amazing night. It actually brought a tear to my eye when we were out there playing.
Hurt that bad.
It was so fun. We were
was.
standing around in the field playing the national anthem on kazoos, but it was cool.
And it was.
Yeah.
Do you remember? So there was a girl that was there that wore. We had our
Fez
we had
girl.
our fezzes.
Yeah.
And there was a young lady, a little person.
Yes.
That was there, and she just was
adopted us.
ecstatic about wearing our fez. And I just found a picture of that the other day with
did
her
you
and
really?
the fez. And
You have to get that to Tim so he can put it on the episode.
You have to get it to us.
yeah.
But I remember her. She was so fun.
Yeah.
She was just having a blast.
Yeah, it was a good time.
There's a history of people of the female persuasion wanting to wear fezzes of Ubar Grotto members.
Well,
if you were on the Ubar cruise, there was a little bit of that going.
No,
which was kind of fun.
I did
Easy
not
now.
partake in that cruise.
I was on that.
Easy now.
I lived to tell about
There
it.
are people that don't want it known that they were on that cruise. Yeah.
That was fun.
Oh yes.
But anyway, I think Jack's point is you've done a good job of getting activities that guys are interested in that help generate enthusiasm within an organization. And you've got a pretty good history of doing that in lots of organizations.
I always say I always say I was in the wrong profession. I think I should have done things more like PR type stuff because I come up with a lot of good ideas, and I'm not tooting my own horn again, but I do think that there's some things that really should be done and can be done to bring people out and enjoy what we have as an organization and as a fraternity. It is a brotherhood, and I think sometimes guys don't realize that past lodge or past grotto or past tall cedars or past that meeting once a month, there's more to us than just that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we kind of fail sometimes to not get our names out in certain organizations. People hear Freemason and the first thing they think of is Shriner, and I don't understand why it's just Shriner. There's so many other organizations within Freemasonry that can get our names out. Hence the reason we should go into parades with other organizations. And not that I'm putting down the Shriners, but there are so many things that we as Freemasons do that we don't get credit for.
Right.
And I think we need to move that to the forefront more.
So tell them about the big idea that we've been working on for Ubar that we haven't yet gotten launched yet, but it's fantastic. This is amazing. I'm all in on this.
I think we, as an organization, should get a riding lawnmower unit together for parades.
Absolutely.
And, we have the...
Totally grotto.
We have, yeah.
I'm in.
You know how they had like
I don't even have a yard. I'll get a
They have
mower.
the funny cars.
Yeah,
and
the Shriners have
horses
little
and-
cars and they go back
Yep.
and forth and all that. Like we could get like
Lawnmowers.
lawnmowers and do X designs and
Figure
back and
eights.
forth. And
Can I get a
figure
front
eights
loader? I want a front loader on mine.
Sure.
I think that's going to encourage wagering, though.
It
People
can-
are going to wonder how many accidents
Oh
are going
no,
to
no,
occur on the
no! It
lawnmower.
says at the opening of the show, no wagering.
Oh, that's right.
That's
Brian
right.
Hill
No
tells us
wagering.
that. No
So,
wagering.
no.
Ooh,
I still
shoot.
say, in Gettysburg when they have the parade in Gettysburg, can you see everyone walking down in Gettysburg with their tuxes on, and it's very formal, and then all of a sudden
the back
Ubar
of the
Grotto,
line.
and all of a sudden Ubar Grotto comes with their lawnmower unit.
That would be awesome.
Just making noise.
Yeah,
I like it.
That would be awesome. So I think that's a great point. And again, to the point I was making about the variety, because you really are involved in a lot of different organizations. Talk a little bit about some of the leadership roles you've played in the different groups.
I am a past master of Riverside Lodge 503. I'm also a past Grand Tall Cedar for York Forest 30. I'm not involved as much as most people are, but those are the three, besides being a past Monarch for Ubar Grotto as well. Those are my three main that I've been in charge of and done things for. Tall Cedars was really my go-to for a long time. And I found Grotto. It's like, the light came on. And
I'm home.
I'm home. I've found more brotherhood in Grotto than I have in most organizations that I've been a member of.
Talk about that. Why?
So, and not to get all sappy and
Oh, go ahead.
Do it.
So the year I was Monarch was 2020. We had COVID. We had all kinds of stuff. My mother had pancreatic cancer, and Dave Steffi, who followed me in line, I was going through a lot, and he helped me through that time. Not only did he help me through that time, but when my mother passed, I had more Grotto members reach out to me and send condolences and things like that. Then my own, and I hate to say this, don't condemn me for it, but then my own Blue Lodge did. And I was a past, I was a past Monarch at Ubar, but I was also a past master at my lodge, and the fellowship that I have with Grotto, it can't be matched with anything I've been in so far.
But you know what? I mean, and the word is fellowship, right? Because you just hack around. And Grotto has reputations in different parts of the country, but our Grotto, it's just hack around. You come in, you have a nice dinner,
fun group.
get together with friends. It's just a nice. It's a good time, but we get to fellowship together.
And that's the thing as well. So, like you had said, we have the river, one side York, one side's Lancaster. We have Harrisburg, which is above us as well. But
Did you just say Harrisburg was above you?
well, only
Spiritually.
only in direct,
Only geographically.
only in direction. But so we get these guys from all over, and we get to hear things from Lancaster that we don't hear about in York or up in Harrisburg.
My neck of the woods.
Your neck of the
that
woods.
other place.
Those people. The
Them
city
thar.
people. But we get together and we share more information and things, not just Freemasonry, but just life in general, and I have a lot of people that I would not have known unless I was in Grotto because of us all getting together. And it's a beautiful thing.
It really is.
Oh, cue the violin.
Hey.
No, but it speaks to reaching out for you because you were focused on your Blue Lodge at first, going through, And then after that, after you were master, then you went and started taking roles in other organizations. You've also been Grand Mighty
Poobah.
Sequoia
Grand Tall Cedar.
Grand Tall.
Big
so
tree.
big
Grand
tree.
Tall, big tree.
In big tree. So you've taken other leadership roles in the organization, and you've gotten something out of it, right?
Absolutely. So when I was first raised, I was married to my first wife, and I didn't have any. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't have any kids at the time. So when I was raised, of course, I don't know if you guys know Al Weiser, but Al Weiser comes up to me after the meeting's over and puts his arm around me and turns me towards the west and says, "Which one of those chairs do you want to sit in?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And he said, "Well, we have a spot for you." So, and this is where leadership sometimes has reasons. I feel that the only reason that he even did that was because he knew that I didn't have as much of a commitment in my life at that time outside of Freemasonry. I mean, I had a wife, but I didn't have kids. So I could commit myself to that time a little bit more. So I think that kind of helped me a little bit to get into that position and move on. And literally, you know, I went through the chairs in 6 years. And then after that, I kind of was a little stagnant because my first son was born 2 years after I was raised. So he was getting older, and then I kind of stepped back from doing too much. And then we go into Tall Cedars because a friend of mine got me into Tall Cedars. Another story where he wanted me to get in. I didn't want to get in. He actually passed away. And the day after he passed away, I joined Tall Cedars.
Man, some people will just do anything.
He was pretty adamant about it. He
It's a
said,
high price to pay, though.
I'll die
Wow.
for you to come into Cedars." But
Hey, it worked.
But so
Okay,
I get into
that's-
Cedars, and then same thing. Of course, just like everything else, they're looking for someone to go in line. And of course, me being the sucker, as Pete would say, I made eye contact.
There you
There you go.
And I really enjoyed going through that line. And then, of course, Grotto's the same way. You know, you made eye contact, and there you go. But it's something that has to be in your blood to do it. Honestly, like there are people that can do it, and there are people that do it because they're kind of put into it. And you can tell that when you go to any meeting. You know, there's certain people that can really wow a crowd and keep you interested, and then there's others that are like, "Is this meeting over?"
Right.
Like, it just started, but like, when's it over?
Right.
You know, so it is it's an acquired taste.
So how did you get to Freemasonry?
So I belong to a club in York. It's called the Viking Club, and
You walk around with like horns on
yeah,
your head?
actually we do. No, it was an all men's club at first, but then it was opened, you know, just like everything else, because we have to open to everybody. And so we were downstairs. Tell us how you feel about that. We were downstairs at the punch boards, and the guy that was running the punch boards was December, and we were talking, and he said to me, "Oh, my wife hates this time of year." I'm like, "Well, why?" He's like, "Oh, I have so many dues that I owe." He said, he goes, "Obviously I belong here. I belong to the Hawks Club. I'm in the VFW. I'm in the Masons." And then he goes on. And I said, "How do you become a Mason?" He looked at me and he goes, "You just started." And I'm like, "What?" And he said, "You just started." He said, "I can give you more information if you're interested." And we started talking, and the rest is history.
Good man.
Wasn't your dad in before you?
No.
He wasn't?
I gave my dad his first degree.
Wow.
My dad.
Talk about that.
So my dad for years was. So my grandfather, my great grandfather was a Methodist minister in Philadelphia, and he was a Mason. But my dad didn't know much about it. And then when I got involved with Freemasonry, my dad was always, you know, "Oh, when you going to your baby killing meeting?" And just dogging me. And when I joined Tall Cedars, as you know, Tall Cedars is more open to families and things like that. I actually invited my mom and dad to a Tall Cedar meeting. And then my dad wanted to come to the next Tall Cedar meeting. And then my dad wanted to come to the next Tall Cedar meeting. And about the 5th Tall Cedar meeting, he said to me, he goes, "So what do I have to do to get one of those petitions?"
You just did it.
So he got the petition and filled it out. And to this day, one of the proudest moments, he says, is me giving him his first degree. And it was pretty awesome for me to do, too.
That's fantastic.
I was going to say,
he's past Grand Tall Cedar as well.
He is past Grand Tall Cedar, correct.
So I'm going to dig beneath the surface here. Talk about giving your dad his degree.
I was super nervous.
Yeah, no way. Sure.
You don't want to let your dad down no matter what. And this was, my opinion, was probably one of the most special moments, and I did not want to mess it up.
Yeah.
So of course, you have practices and all that before, and of course you have the grumpy old past masters that are there watching you do your practice and stuff like that. And I knew I had it, but of course, as I'm practicing, you have those 2 or 3 guys who are like, "Oh, it's not that, it's this," and it's like, no. This is how it is. Well, that's not how it is. I'm telling you. So
Not how it was my year.
yeah. So the time came, and it was pretty intense. I didn't get really emotional about it, but it after it was all said and done, it was, like I said, it was awesome. I mean, in all honesty, it was awesome.
I can't imagine how cool that feels.
Yeah. And I didn't want to do the second and the third because I just wanted to get the first one done with him and then let somebody else, because I just would have been atrocious at it because I couldn't have done it 3 times.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure being there for those other ones
that
was enough of a high.
Oh, absolutely. And
I can't imagine.
And like I said, my dad's a proud Mason.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. I love that.
Yeah, from going from a guy that just was like, poo-pooed everything to loving to be in Tall Cedars, loving to be at Blue Lodge, loving to be at Grotto. I don't think he'll join anything else. I mean, he's 75, and he's kind of like
he is where he is.
He is where he is, and he's a high 12. He's a member of high 12 too, but. He's very happy where he is, and he loves everything he does. So.
That's awesome. Very cool. All right, let's take a break, and we'll come back with Brother Jeff Fulton.
As far back as the mid-1800s, records exist describing the pre-meeting tradition of brethren smoking cigars during and after gatherings. To this day, the practice of smoking cigars remains very much alive in many lodges. This custom is considered a time for brethren to relax, exchange ideas, and enjoy the simplicity and fellowship that is the very essence of our brotherhood. This is what Hiram and Solomon Cigars is all about. Our starting principles are to bring Masonic brethren together in the harmony of a good cigar. Pull up a chair, sit back, light up any of our premium cigars, and enjoy the history. Hiram and Solomon Cigars can be found at fine cigar retailers. For a complete list, visit HiramandSolomonCigars.com or check them out on social media to find out when they'll be at a live event near you. Hiram and Solomon Cigars is pleased to be the official cigar of the Masonic Light Podcast.
And we're back with our special guest, Jeff Fulton.
You notice I never bring anybody back.
Well, we ask you to, and then you point at each of us.
I'm feeling isolated.
All right, Larry, bring us back.
And we're back with Brother Jeff Fulton. Past Grand Tall Cedar, past Obar Monarch. My God, the guy's got past master of his lot, Riverside Lodge. And Wrightsville. Yeah, across from Columbia.
Doing a great job, Larry.
Anyway,
I'm glad they woke you up to do that.
This is why they don't.
So ask your question, Larry.
What question?
That's why we don't let you bring us back.
Jeez.
So, Jeff, we've been talking a lot about, both directly and indirectly, really, about leadership in Freemasonry and the challenge that we face. Of not only getting people to get into chairs, but once they're there, to to learn about leadership and learning about leading groups of people. How do we do that?
I honestly, I think it depends on the individual. As we all know, everyone has different ways to learn.
Imagine you're teaching Larry.
I thought you were going to say everybody has. I thought you were going to say everybody has learning disabilities.
This is how we would start with Larry. Larry, wake up.
There you go. That's a attaboy. But anyway, seriously.
No, like I said, I think everyone learns differently. As we all know, with anything that we do within Freemasonry, at least within Blue Lodge, it's just repetitive. Just continue to just basically hammer it in your head until you know what's going on. But to do it well is hard to teach. I like I said before, I think there's just certain people that are born leaders, and there are certain people that just kind of go with the flow. Excuse me. I can't honestly give you an honest answer to a teaching style. That's the thing. It's up to the individual.
So clearly, I mean, we have guys that come in that are like ritual just gurus. They just bring that. They're like sponges. They get it. They can get it. Boom. They repeat it. They got it. But that's one kind of leadership. How do you move an organization, whether it's a Blue Lodge or a Grotto or Tall Cedars or whatever? How do you teach guys that you've got to reach out and find what clicks with whatever group you're dealing with?
I mean, it's just, I'm a supervisor at my job, and I try to be one-on-one with my people, and I think that's the way it should be with any leadership style. If I'm not going to do it, I don't expect you to do it. And
stop banging on the table, Jack.
Yeah, Jack. I thought I did something wrong for a second.
Shut up.
But that's just the way I think that any leader should be. If it's something that I'm going to do, I would expect that you would do it as well. I'm not going to go and force someone to do something I don't want to do. But you have to keep things fresh. That's the other thing. You have to keep things different going. We always say, that's not how I did it in my day when it comes to the old, past masters. But you know what?
I never say that.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
You say it all the time.
But
we need to change. This organization, every organization needs to change over time.
Right.
And the way we did it back then is not the way we do it now. And
why is that?
The world is different. I mean,
you stole my answer.
Okay. Sorry, but my point is we're moving beyond that.
Right.
Well, I've always thought this, so when you have the past master that sits on the side and says, "Well, that's not how we did it in our day," you need to realize he heard that from the past master before him. So it's not how they did it in his day. So he automatically thinks that it's not the way he did it in his day. But you know what? It's today.
Yeah.
And that's where we fall. Like, we can't live in the past. And that is what drives me more crazy about this, any of the organizations that I belong to. I can say that Grotto is not that way. Tall Cedars is starting to try and transfer into that kind of mode. But we're going to kill ourselves if we don't start to change.
So here, like I've been assigned or nominated to whatever for this membership engagement and it's not retention, but membership engagement committee, right, for the Grand Lodge. And what we have is a program that works. It's proven to work. It sort of derives out of the Grand Lodge of England and the program they did. But it involves really assessing what your lodge is right here, right now. What assets do we have? What people do we have? How can we utilize them to create a future for our lodge? Because we are at a point right now in Freemasonry where we are turning the corner. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, we are literally this giant ship is now turning a little bit, and we've got an opportunity right now to get a course correction to get us back to where we probably lost track of, 50, 75 years ago. Not that was to our detriment. We became what we did, but the future of Freemasonry is an entirely different course, and we're making that course correction right now, I believe. So what you're doing is a big part of it. You're recognizing that we need to do stuff. We need to be involved. We need to be in the community. We need to put a presence out. And that's the stuff that we're trying to encourage with this committee. So what else are you working on to get to that?
Within Grotto right now, like I said, I'm going to do the parade. I'd like to get out and hopefully here in Pennsylvania, as you all know, we have the strangest food items that we like to eat here.
Mostly entrails, actually.
And I think there's a way that we could celebrate that wonderful food and scrapple in particular.
See? I was right. I knew it was going there.
But it's good.
And it is not good. But there are things that we could do to kind of incorporate the fun of Grotto with something along the lines of Scrapple, like a Scrapple festival.
Scrapple Fest.
That
happened. Yeah.
I mean,
do it.
Scrapple tasting contest.
Have a Scrapple Wars. We could do that.
And things like that. But we need to make sure that our name is in the forefront and emphasize the reason we're doing it, not just because we want to make money for Grotto. We want to make money for our charity.
Right.
So, and that needs to be on the forefront more than anything.
Like that polar bear plunge thing. Forget it. Those people are insane.
I've done that.
Just no. That's a hard no. I'm sorry. I'll eat Scrapple before I do that.
There's guys that were up in New York I saw the other day from I think it was a Zine or
It was a Zine, yeah.
Yeah, well,
they did the polar plunge.
They're super extreme.
It's fun. It's torturous, but it's fun. I've done it. Like I said, I've done it 3 years. So, but just odds and ends like that, things like that to try and get your name out is it's not hard. It just takes a little time.
But it kind of like you told the story of your father. You came out to a tall cedar thing. You came out to a tall cedar thing. You came out to a tall cedar thing. And then all of a sudden, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And that's when the question got asked. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing against bringing a guest to a Grotto meeting necessarily. You can't be in the actual business part of the meeting.
Yeah.
But we ask them to, turn their heads and not listen.
Yes.
Larry, are we keeping you awake?
So, Larry, what do you got?
No,
Go ahead. No, Larry.
I was.
He's over here yawning.
I'm just yawned.
You're yawning? Okay. Sorry to bore you.
So,
jeez.
But I think that's a good point too, and we talked about this at dinner, which is where all of our best questions get asked.
Mouthwash.
And we forget about them.
We forget about them when we get to the studio.
Damn it.
I think too many times also that we declare something as being not successful just because X number of people either did or didn't come. And I know Pete used to always say, if 6 people show up, make sure those 6 people had the best time ever, and they'll tell their friends, and next year you'll have 12. And I think too many times that if it's 6 because you didn't plan well, that's one thing. But if you did everything you're supposed to do and that's what shows up, then enjoy that and celebrate that. And, it's the old shampoo commercial. They'll tell their friends and so on and so on and so on.
It's also accentuate the positive. We spend a lot of time bitching about the negative. But.
Right.
Well, and that's like with the Enchanted Lanterns in Grotto. Like, they made me Enchanted Lantern committee member, your committee chair, and I don't ever remember of anyone doing anything at the meetings before except for a few things. And we went from having very few sales to a lot of sales.
So what is an Enchanted Lantern for the people that don't know?
So an Enchanted Lantern is it's a $50 donation to the Humanitarian Foundation for Grotto. When you purchase a lantern, you get a pin and a certificate, and that money goes to the Humanitarian Foundation.
Tell us about the Humanitarian Foundation.
Oh my God, you guys are asking me all kinds. No, so the Humanitarian
question.
Our Grotto's.
Give us the short version.
This is hard-hitting news.
Grotto's charity is to give dental visits for mentally challenged children. The cost for dental work for these kids can be astronomical because they can't just go into a dentist's office and sit down and dentist does his thing and they're out. They have to actually, some kids actually have to sedate them and those costs.
They got away from strapping them to the table.
They
right?
tried to get away from that. It's probably better that they don't do that.
Yeah.
So that's what the Grotto does.
Yeah.
And like I said, we just try and do our thing.
Yeah. Very good. What is going on?
Larry's
over
having
there?
a stroke.
I'm
I'm not sure.
Goodness.
He had one yesterday. I was really concerned. I got a text message from Larry yesterday. It was like, Ruff Margaret.
We were like, what
oh
the
my God,
heck
Larry,
was
what
that?
the hell? You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, good.
So,
Have you met Jeff?
Hi, Larry. How are you?
How you doing, Jeff?
Good.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Gonna do the show tonight?
Yeah. When do you want to start?
We should probably have dinner first.
yeah, right. Oh,
Well, it's only
goodness.
5 after 5, so we got plenty of
It's
time.
5:05.
It's always
Thank us to
5:05. The studio here.
Oh, God.
So I think the key point is, do something. Do something. Try to do it well. Build on what you do, and engage people. You said something earlier about having a one-on-one conversation with people. I think we've gotten away from that. Mm-hmm. We've gotten into emails and text messages and all this other electronic stuff, and we forget that one-on-one contact is so powerful. I have never, ever had someone that I went to directly and said, I need your help. Would you do this one thing?
Yeah.
I've never had anybody say no. And but that is hard to do for some folks.
That's the secret sauce for worshipful masters.
Yes.
Well, not just that, but there's always something for someone to do, even if it's not even to be in a chair,
Right.
even to be on
and that's
sub
it.
sale committee.
That's
or,
it. I mean, find something that they feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. You look like you have a question.
No, other than to just say that it's a 300-year-old hamster wheel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you go back and read the minutes of meetings from 1864, it's like, why can't we get more guys on the sidelines? Where's all the members? Why? How come nobody's coming to meetings? Rah, 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 rah.
Right.
It's the same stuff 300 years later. But we have to fight the fight. We have to keep getting on the hamster wheel, right?
But now we're Pennsylvania Masons. Are you finding that this same issue is in other states,
in
than
other
Pennsylvania?
countries?
And that's the
Every
thing.
lodge everywhere.
So
Yes.
the lax dress code in other areas is not necessarily the issue for Pennsylvania, which some people complain about, or the alcohol at lodges is not the same issue as we have. So there's no fix.
No. There's no
fix.
magic bullet.
And,
that's
and
gonna
it's,
do
it's
this.
like
silver bullet to any
it's
of
like I've
this.
always said at work. You could offer someone $1 million and they would complain because they didn't get to.
Yeah.
And that's what we seem to run into within our organization is I can offer you this, but you've got to be willing to take it.
Right.
And you can't complain about it.
Yeah.
But they'll take it and then complain about it.
Right. Exactly. But it's I mean, we're set up for it because we have this progressive line scenario in Pennsylvania. It's mostly in Pennsylvania Masonry, where you just move through the chairs until you finally get to the east, and then you go do something else, or you recirculate back through, and you go. But at best, you got a 3-year horizon that you're looking at. Your year, your senior warden, and your junior warden's year, and after that, everything that you tried to do or started to do in your year is 97% going to stop happening after those two guys are out of the East. So you have to keep generating new ideas and new things to do, and you're doing that, and I congratulate you for doing that because it's not easy. Because after a while, you get kind of like, geez, is nobody else going to step up and do this kind of thing?
Yeah, that is frustrating.
Yeah.
And while pancake breakfasts are wonderful, in some cases you want to keep them going, and in some cases maybe you let them go to the Waffle House for their pancakes, and you do something else. I mean,
and that's true. Like with York Forest Tall Cedars, ask anyone from York. Back in the 80s and 90s, we had a pancake breakfast that was at the York Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
And it brought
thousands
of
and
people.
thousands of dollars.
Not just thousands of dollars, thousands of people.
Yeah.
And when I say thousands of people, I literally mean it.
They all had $1.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know what changed it, but people didn't want to come anymore.
We
And
decided to get healthy.
Well, that's
cut
that's
carbs.
very overrated in my
Yeah,
opinion.
exactly.
If you can see me, I'm not the
Right.
smallest of people. So, but yeah,
I always like hanging out with you. You know,
yeah,
I feel good.
you feel small. I do. But no, and then we lost. People coming, and we had to stop it.
Yeah.
And that's just it's everywhere, not just within the organization. It's just everyone.
Right.
So.
All right, so let's transition just a little bit here. One of the things that I've been waiting to ask Larry this question.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So, as I've said on several episodes, I've been going back listening into the archives of Masonic Light podcasts gone by, and on episode 60, Larry, you made a profound announcement. That had Jack snoring. That was it right there. And Jack projected, never going to happen. Larry announced near the end of episode 60 that the Masonic Light podcast was going to begin a spinoff of somebody coming on bi-weekly, and we might update it to weekly, where we're going to talk to interesting people. And I want to know who was your first guest on this.
It wasn't quite that way.
No, you can go back and listen to episode 60.
It wasn't. It wasn't a guest. It was a person.
A person
And
of interest.
A person of interest.
Who was not a guest.
That was not a guest, but who was a Freemason back in time. And it was based on a lot of the old Paul Harvey, The Rest of the Story, which is a guy doing
The
it right
rest
name,
of
who's
the
doing a great
story.
job in doing that, actually. What the heck is the guy that does the stinky jobs in the mud and
Dirty Jobs.
Mike Rowe.
Mike
Rowe,
Rowe,
there
who
you
does a phenomenal job with
Rowe,
his
yeah.
podcast. That's what we were talking about doing, going back in time. And
How many of those episodes happened?
I put together, didn't record them, I wrote. I actually,
In my mind.
no, I have them at home in writing. I wrote about 5 of them.
I swear.
2 of them I presented to a lodge meeting.
So the next time you get snowed in somewhere and can't go do anything, go back and listen to some of our early episodes.
But Jack was right, not going to happen.
It didn't happen.
Well, there's another good reason for that. My boss, Pete Ruggieri, foo-fooed it and shot it down.
Well, there you go.
No, he didn't.
But I remember when
I
you
can say that.
But you
now.
started to make that announcement.
He's not here.
We
so
call
he
that
can't defend
Caesar's
himself.
veto. That's what we call
But
it.
no. Both Jack and Pete at the time both said, Larry, you're not going to announce that
never
tonight, are you?
gonna-
And he goes, yeah, I'm going to. And, of course, Jack was over in the corner. They were like, yeah, that ain't happening.
No, it didn't happen. That was what, 110 shows.
112 episodes ago.
Much has changed since then.
Much
Yeah,
has changed since
Lots
then.
have changed.
So, okay, just curious.
I've lost all interest in this nonsense. So, I mean,
Okay.
Let's delve
So,
deeper into
as
I'm
we
just here for the tea.
Here for the tea and the
is-
fellowship.
The
Turkey
tea
Hill.
is awesome
Turkey Hill
tonight,
iced
by the
tea.
way.
Turkey Hill iced tea.
Tea is
The
absolutely
best.
amazing. So, as we do with all of our guests, we encourage them to participate in a game show that we call
Copious Dues. Jeff Fulton, tell us, brother. No, don't tell us.
Don't tell us.
Yes.
Write it down.
I do that every time.
You
don't
do. You do every time.
I? All right. Write down on this secret slip of paper with this secret pen in our secret lair, deep beneath the wine and spirits store.
Let me think about this.
How much do you spend every year in dues? Not banquets, not convivials,
Not pens
Just
or
dues.
anything else. total
we-
Masonic.
We will,
I'm going to give it rounded.
That's
rounded.
okay.
we will guess that number, rounded to the nearest 1,000.
No,
No.
10. All right, Larry.
Oh, wait a minute. Riverside's dues are supposed to be what, the cheapest?
We're not going to talk about
That's
that.
right, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Can't ask
yeah,
questions.
This is not mental math.
You want to ask my? Okay,
250.
my guess.
Talking to the mic.
Oh, my guess. $325.
$325.
So the closest without going over.
All right. Who's next? Josh.
I'm going to say $608,
Ooh, and 47 cents.
62 cents.
2 cents.
He's got
Jack.
$374. A little more than Larry.
All right, let me see this. There's this. Okay, carry the one.
Wrong side of the river, wrong side of the
Yeah,
river.
wrong side of this.
You don't pay in cash on that side either.
Okay, I'm gonna
in chickens.
I'm gonna take Josh's typical answer. $1. Which,
All right.
by the way, we didn't talk about that.
You've heard them all. Now, Jeff,
Hang on.
Wait.
We've got to review.
we got a
them.
review.
Larry, $325. Josh, $608.62. Jack, $374, and Tim with $1.
I think Tim has it, but we're gonna go. Jeff, what do you pay for copious
Remember, your wife is listening.
dues?
Missing it by only $1 is Jack Harley, $375.
$375.
Oh my God!
Under he was.
He
Yes.
finally won.
On the board. Thank
He's
you.
on the board.
Thank you.
I really need to go back and listen to these episodes to see what everyone else is paying, to see how important I really
You
am.
can see the winners up there on the board.
Are the highest.
We have to update with our last guest, but
1,400 for one.
yeah.
Oh my!
So yeah, there's some pretty high ones up
I think
there.
some people are lying.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
No, I think they're estimating.
They're estimating. What that also means for those of you that know Jeff Fulton, and you're in other appendant bodies, you can probably guess which ones you can invite him to.
Hey, Jeff,
Yes.
pay your damn dues.
That's my line.
I teed it up, but anyway.
All right. I think
Take
Uncle
another quick break and
Walter.
come
We're
back
gonna
with Walter.
We're
and
going to
then
go
close.
directly to Walter, and then we'll come back for our closing.
All right.
In Masonic news today, a near tragedy occurred at a recent meeting of the Allied Masonic degrees. 3 members, weighed down by excessive lapel pins, fell into the hotel pool and sank straight to the bottom. Fortunately, they were rescued by a team of Demolay lifeguards. Thanks, Dadland. That's the Masonic news. So mote it was.
All right. So one of these years, and we need to schedule this maybe for next year. We need to get back down to Masonic Week.
At least to the bar.
At least to the bar. That's our brother Seth Anthony is the Grand Poobah Secretary.
Now that he's responsible for us.
Now that he's responsible for us, we could go down there and talk to a lot of folks. I saw a lot of Facebook posts and so on, and I think we need to make a return visit. Yeah. It's been a while. All right. So, Jeff, thanks for being with us tonight. It's been great to have you on. But before we go, we're going to go around the horn again and talk about what we have coming up Masonically in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, jeez.
Larry, anything besides food?
No.
Okay. Jack.
What do I have? We've got a extra meeting. I've got some other stuff, and then some other stuff, and then that's it. So, no.
I'm disappointed.
Sorry.
Jeff.
Sunday, I have Beer Sheba Grotto, I'm district deputy for them. I have that Sunday. Monday, Blue Lodge meeting. I think that's it.
I think it's interesting that in the Grotto system, that a district
Is a single
is a single body.
grotto. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have to realize
It's kind of like the teacher, right?
they're spread out so far that you don't. So we have the Pennsylvania Grotto Association, which has 9 grottos in it, but each grotto has its own district deputy. It is weird.
That would be like
some grottos. District deputy is a member of their own grotto.
Oh,
So that makes it even more.
there's some travel.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but
Interesting.
That's all I have.
Josh.
Just the podcast.
Okay.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Just the facts. All right, we got to get Josh back into some of these things. So, there are a couple of things you all may have forgotten.
This is just the middle. This is just the middle of the month.
Exactly.
Josh can do whatever he wants.
But coming
All
up
my stuff's at the beginning and the end.
in the future, on the 24th of February, the Lancaster Lodge of Perfection will be sponsoring a bowling alley outing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
At whatever the bowling alley is over in Mountjoy, which is literally right down the street from Larry's house.
Yep, it is.
Something Springs.
You gonna come this year, Larry?
Nope.
Look for Something Springs Bowling.
I think it's
I will
Something
be
Springs.
there.
I don't like bowlers.
Larry,
Well, if you come,
I
Larry, we might
bowl
actually-
every Wednesday.
That's why I said that.
God.
Goodness.
Except for this Wednesday, I'm doing the Masonic Lake podcast.
So I have.
We're thankful for you, Jeff.
And actually, I do like bowlers. And generally, I always seem to miss
They're
that
delicious.
function. And I'm a member of the Lodge of Perfection. So.
Yes, you are, and I will be there. So you need.
Oh,
to
you're
come.
gonna be there.
You need to come.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Remind me. Yes, please.
We'll get you the bumper later.
Earlier that day, I will be training the first Masonic district
The best.
secretaries and treasurers. They're number one in number only.
That was harsh.
I know. On the 27th, I'll be doing the same with the second Masonic district. And with something, once again, we all forgot about, even though we spent most of this episode talking about it. On the 25th will be Ubar Grotto.
Oops.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
If you're interested in attending at the 25th on Ubar Grotto, that would be at the John Wright Restaurant.
Yes, it would be.
In Wrightsville, Pennsylvania, on the river. It's a beautiful setting.
Beautiful.
The food is redunculously good.
Short ribs.
Short ribs?
Short ribs.
oh, that's my
his-
favorite.
His short ribs are good.
Yeah.
This is my favorite. Oh, that's my second favorite. But, okay, yeah.
So if you are a Master Mason, you are welcome to join us. You will be our guests. And,
I come too?
No, because you're
You're a member.
no.
You're coming because
So,
you're going to be the new
anyway-
Sentinel.
Oh my God! I'm just trying to invite people.
Oh, okay.
Do it.
So come to
you
Ubar
won't let me.
Grotto. It's Sunday,
Short ribs.
24th.
Sunday.
24th,
Fifth.
5th.
Fifth,
Sorry,
thank
25th.
you.
Sorry.
25th. You'll be a day early.
What time
So
should they
Sunday
show
the
up?
25th. So if you're a cigar smoker, show up at 4. If you would like to have a casual beverage before the meeting, show up at 5. If you would like to have dinner, show up at 6. And if you just want to sit through the meeting because that's the kind of person you are, come at 7.
Yeah, about 6:30.
6:30ish.
And if you want a petition, come see me.
yeah, see Jeff, he gets bonus points if
He
you
gets bonus points.
So seriously, it's a good time. There's a lot of nice guys that coming out. So if you're in Central Pennsylvania and you haven't ever been to a Grotto meeting, come on out. It's fun.
And even if you don't like cigars, the pre-meeting is outside, and so the smoke goes away quickly. Even though it's enclosed and it has the heaters,
just a
and
chance to hang out with.
it's a great time of
others.
fellowship.
It's the hang.
It is the hang. So come join us.
All about that hang.
All right, guys. Good episode. Thanks for Jeff for coming in tonight. Appreciate it.
And I'd like to take a moment to thank our spouses and significant others.
Yes.
For allowing us to come out on Valentine's night and record this redunculous meeting. Thank you, girls, especially my wife Stephanie.
Yep.
And
Carol!
I love you, Tammy.
Wait a minute. Hang on.
Josh is being quiet. Over
Tim
the
has to check who he wants to thank.
Exactly. Who am I thinking this
How
week?
many of them
How
are
many,
there, Tim?
How about
what?
Barbara in Williamsport?
No. You're not supposed to remember that.
How about Taffy in Savannah?
Right.
Ooh, yeah.
No. What I was trying to play was. Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez.
Yell like she's at the front door.
Hey, Carol! Carol!
Yes, that Carol.
That Carol.
We did the Australian show. Yeah.
Right. No, seriously.
Ladies, we love you.
Yep. And one of these days we are going to do a spouse significant other episode. Stephanie, Pete's spouse, came up with this idea several years ago, and we keep finding ways to fumble
Eventually, we'll pull this off.
that event. But special thank you to my significant other, Jackie, for allowing me to do all that I do. So anyway, yeah, great episode, and good to see everyone. And we'll see you on our next episode. Josh, you have one further duty?
Do you have chickens?
Larry, this is your cue.
It's my cue.
Yeah.
Talking to the mic.
Are we ready to go home now?
Speaking to the microphone.
I think we are. I don't know. Well, time really flew tonight, really, didn't it? Special thanks, Effort Lodge 665, for allowing us to continue our. Yeah, what? Anyway, thanks, Effort. To Josh Lamberton, our producer and our director. Jack Harley, our news director. Tim Dedman, who's going to die on the way home. No, I hope not. Oh, no, I'm in the car. He's driving.
Right, you better hope.
Scratch that. Tim Dedman, our marketing director. Michelle Snyder, Doug Maidenford, and Austin Schifrin. Sonic Light. Hey, Carol! Carol! Oh, my God. And to our listeners who always make doing this show so worthwhile, this is Larry Maris saying thank you for listening. And remember, have fun and do good. Good night.
This is Tim.
Good night.
Bye, everybody. You say good night.
Good night.
And bye.
Do it now.
Bye.
Come on.
Do it.
Good night, Mrs. Calabash.
All right. I think
Take
Uncle
another quick break. And,
Walter,
come
we're
back
going
with Walter.
We're
and
going to
then
go
close.
directly to Walter, and then we'll come back for our closing.
All right.
Break?
I guess we're taking a break.
I guess we're not going directly to
Pull
Walter.
the cord in back of there, so we
What?
That's all right.
pull the cord in back of you. Yeah.
He lives on his
Josh
own
already has
planet.
it.
He can't wait for the heater to get plugged back in. That's what it was. He was freezing to death, and he needed the heater.
No, I'm fine now.